Hi, I'm Steve McGill of the Hurdle Magazine and HurdlesFirst.com, and I want to welcome you to our new updated website and to the feature of the new website, the Hurdle Magazine. Okay, in addition to the magazine, we're also doing some other things that we didn't do with the old site. We'll be offering various services, including video analysis. So if you have some races or some footage of practice sessions that you want us to look at and give you some analysis and feedback on, we provide that service. If you need workout plans to decide, the course of your direction for the season or for part of the season, we can provide that with the additional weight training programs and diet plans to go with them. So we're excited about those kinds of additions to our site and those services, because we feel that gives us the potential to help hurdlers and hurdle coaches as much as possible in ways that we couldn't before. In addition, there's also the opportunity to hire us for hurdling camps and things of that sort, and hire me, I guess you could say, for private coaching as the year goes on and things start to develop. You might want to consider something like that and to help your hurdlers to fine-tune or to work on technical issues or what have you. Okay, so the magazine, which is simply called the Hurdle Magazine, will be the focal point of our new website. And basically, if you're already familiar with the site and you've seen some of the articles that have been up over the past 10 years or so, you know the kind of writing that I do. And basically, the magazine will be a more formalized version of that, in which the magazine will feature a little bit of everything that's on the site, that's been on the site for the last decade or so. Our first issue will come out in September. It will be the 14th of September. And let me give you a little breakdown of what it will consist of. There will be an article on shin splints and how to treat them, how to prevent them, and what the causes are of them. I was able to get some very good insights from a friend of mine who was a podiatrist and a track coach. Besides the shin splints article, we'll also have a review of the recent World Championships that took place in Moscow in August. I like to make that sort of a news piece in which you have some information about all the events, 110 hurdles, 100 hurdles, and both 400 hurdles, but also some analysis and a breakdown of the things that went on that a coach or hurdler can sink their teeth into. So that'll be in the first issue. There'll be an instructional video. So one of the features of the magazine will be an instructional video in each issue. So this issue will focus on the lead leg and lead leg mechanics. And we're kind of excited about that being a very good tool to help hurdlers and coaches to see what works best and to give them their own ideas for experimenting with what works best for them. What else we got here? We got a profile on Wayne Davis II. Wayne Davis is an athlete that I coached for several years when he was in high school. He most recently won the NCAA championship for Texas A&M in the 110 hurdles, and he also competed for Trinidad and Tobago at the World Championships, where he made the semifinal round. Now, Wayne is one of those hurdlers who's always looking to better himself, always asking questions, always seeking knowledge. A fascinating person to talk hurdles with. When he and I talk hurdles, it can go on for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, who knows, and mostly because his brain is so active in trying to find and think of ways that he can get better. So we're really excited about that being our first profile. If you're familiar with the site, you've read some of the profiles that I've done over the years already on people like Ronaldo Nehemiah and Kim Batten and Kevin Young, some of the best hurdlers who've ever wore a pair of spikes. There will be a story that I wrote about my own personal journey this past year, because I like to include a personal story in every issue. And basically the journey from basically almost giving up on the site and kind of becoming disillusioned with track and field in general after I suffered the loss of a former athlete who died at a young age of 28. And the story goes on to explain how I kind of got past all of that and felt motivated to go ahead and to revive the site and center my own life around everything hurdle related. Also in the first issue we'll have an article about the imagination and the role that the imagination plays in coaching hurdlers and the role that it plays for hurdlers in thinking of their own ideas as they progress. As I know as a hurdle coach and other coaches that I know, we're always seeking knowledge, we're always seeking new workouts, we're also always seeking new ideas and the latest information at various clinics and magazines that may have information out there for us. But the imagination is one of those untapped sources of information that we kind of slough off a lot of the times because we don't want to look like fools. We don't want to look like someone who is kind of out there, and we're often very self-conscious as coaches in that sense. So this article will talk about the imagination and I feel the vital role that it plays in helping hurdlers and hurdle coaches to go beyond the stagnant place where they might be at a certain point in their training or in their competitions. And finally, each issue will feature a workout, and this issue's workout will be a cone workout in which cones are placed where the hurdles would be, and you would have to sprint and keep your hurdle rhythm between the cones, so you can't just run two-stepping in between the hurdles like you can't open up your stride like you would want to if you're that fast, where you could potentially take 2 steps between the cones. You would have to take the 3 that you would in a race. So it's kind of a rhythm kind of workout, and so the details of that and how it will be set up and everything and when it's the best time of year to use it will be explained in the magazine in that article as well. So every issue of the magazine will basically follow that type of format, about 5 or 6 articles and an instructional video, and probably 1 or 2 smaller things here or there. Okay, so for me, I look at the Hurdle magazine not as a news magazine. There's a lot of news information out there. Track and Field News is great, and there's a lot of good websites out there that provide you with information and statistics and the latest of what's going on out there from meet to meet, from weekend to weekend. That's not the purpose of our magazine. I look at the Hurdle magazine more so as an educational magazine, and hurdlesfirst.com is more an educational site. It's a site where you learn things about hurdles, not in a didactic way, like this is right versus this is wrong, but more so in a way that makes you think and makes you want to come up with your own ideas and your own plans. And so you always feel like you're growing and evolving as a hurdler and or as a hurdler coach. Okay. I'm also big on the writing aspect. Now I've been told that young people don't like to read and everything, but I think that if they're given a lot of good information that is thought-provoking and that inspires them, that they'll read it. And so I'm excited, and I feel that writing and articulating your thoughts in paper is a very powerful tool. And so this is an educational site. It's quasi-literary site. I look at this as the kind of articles that I'll be writing are ones that you can look at 5, 10 years from now and still get a lot out of. They won't get out of date because the information is out of date. There'll always be more you can go back to and draw from, no matter how old the articles get. Okay. So my vision for hurdlesfirst.com and the Hurdle magazine is for it to be a place where hurdlers feel they have a home, a sense of a hurdler's community, a community of hurdlers, if you will. Because for me, hurdling has always been about more than just winning races and earning scholarships and grabbing glory and making money. It's a form of self-expression. Who you are will be revealed in your races. It's a form of self-expression, it's a path towards self-discovery and self-awareness as well. And I want the people who visit this site and who read our magazine to look at hurdles that way. It's not just an event in a sport, but really a way of life and a way of being that can really enhance and enrich humanity. So looking forward to this first issue, and I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you through the interactive forums that we'll be having and all that sort of communication as the months and years progress. Thanks a lot, and take care.